All right, Dick Gregory, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this.
Yes.
You're a respected civil rights leader for many years. I myself was a civil rights attorney for many
Yes.
years before I came to Court TV. You had a choice in this case, and you chose to support Michael Jackson, I suppose, as against the poor Mexican-American boy who says he's a victim in this case. Why did you choose to support the Jackson side?
I don't believe it.
We will return and talk about those closing arguments with our panel in just a moment, but comedian turned civil rights activist Dick Gregory is on the phone. He's been at the courthouse with Michael Jackson and advising him on his health. Mr. Gregory, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. God bless you, and glad this is finally over.
Well, thank you very much. What is the status of Michael Jackson's health as we speak?
Well, I didn't realize how dehydrated. I've been watching him on TV and noticed the way he was walking, and you could tell he was dehydrated. And the problem he's having with the back, I just assumed that could be gallstones or kidney stones. Mm-hmm. But last night, knowing how dehydrated he was, I carried him to the emergency room of the hospital just thinking they would give him, one IV. Mm-hmm. He was so dehydrated, they gave him 4 IVs. He never left there till 5 o'clock this morning.
What time did he go last night?
5 o'clock yesterday evening.
So he was there for 12 hours.
Yeah, the whole energy, but you could see, if you saw him today, you could see his whole energy level had changed.
Ramon Bain, Michael Jackson's spokeswoman, addressed questions from the press on this subject today. Let's take a quick look.
Many of you have asked, is he eating? He is eating, but let me just say this. And Dick Gregory and I talked about it today. He is eating, but when you drink carrot juice and you have celery juice and you eat all vegetables, you tend not to gain weight. So Mr. Jackson is healthy while he might not have the pounds that many of you feel he should have. He can have some of mine, frankly, but I've gained some. But he is healthy, and I want to assure you of that.
Mr. Gregory, why is Michael Jackson living on celery juice and carrot juice?
Well, when you're going through, what he's going through first, sitting in court all day, he can't go to the laboratory. So you automatically have to cut back on your liquids.
But those are both liquids. Why isn't he eating solid food?
No,
he does get 3 breaks throughout the day.
I can't say for you. When people go through stress and go through what he's been through,
yeah,
your appetite just seems to get early. People get an appetite loss just to get married. And so it works both ways. When you have a horror story or a love story or something nice, the appetite can flee. And then you got to depend on the liquids. So at least you're getting the nutrition in you. You might lose weight, but at least the nutrition is there. I'm not worried about that. What I was worried about was the dehydration.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. Gregory, I'm so glad that you joined us to confirm that he was in the hospital for 12 hours because Ramon Bain seemed a little cagey on the subject earlier today. Take a look.
Let me take you.
Did he go to the hospital at all or not? It's still not clear to us.
No, did he go?
Well, I can't confirm or deny that. Frankly, I can't. I don't know whether in getting these electrolytes he had to literally go in, pick them up, stay in. Somebody went in there, got them for him. I frankly don't know. But I can answer very honestly that Michael Jackson was not admitted to any hospital, and he was here on time.
Well, so was he admitted to a hospital or not?
No, we carried him to the emergency room.
Did you say you carried him to the emergency room?
Yeah, we drove him in the car.
And was he then admitted?
The hospital didn't even know we were coming. Mm-hmm. We just went to the emergency room. They checked his vital signs and said, get his electrolytes run down. I didn't realize. I thought we'd be out of there within an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. But after they examined him, they found out more and more. Now, Ramon didn't know. Nobody knew because it was a last-minute thing. I just said, hey, let's go in town.
All right. Well, even though that interview was just a couple of hours ago. Well, Mr. Gregory, certainly there are many people who are supporting Michael Jackson, but you're well aware there are people who are very critical of him as well. He's gone to the hospital at various critical times throughout this case, during jury selection, on the day that the accuser testifies, and now just before the jury goes out to deliberate. What do you say to those who say this has got to be a publicity stunt?
Well, they have a right to think that. He wouldn't have gone had I not came in town. He wouldn't have gone. But he didn't know he had a problem of electrolytes. But when he told me he was dizzy and he was weak, I said, well, you need some electrolytes. And if we could have found somebody to bring him here, we would have. at the last minute, we just got in the car and said, don't even call nobody. Let's just go by the emergency room. If we can't find it here, we'll drive up to L.A.
And during those 12 hours with him in the hospital, did he talk to you about his concerns about this case?
I wasn't there. I left to go in town to do a show. And when I came back to the house, I had all the vitamins, about $1,000 worth of vitamins to mix.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand why the vitamins wasn't here. And then I didn't even realize until his mother got here around 2 o'clock this morning and said they're going to keep him because they got another bag of liquid to give him.
All right, well, let's bring in our panel. A lot to discuss here. Criminal defense attorney Michael Cardoza, who was in court today, and criminal defense attorney John Patrick Dolan. John's a good friend of Brian Oxman, who I'm sure you will remember was bounced by the defense team. Ouch. Michael Cardoza, you were in the court today. Your reactions to the final closing arguments?
I'll tell you, I thought they were both excellent closing arguments. I've seen and faced a lot of attorneys over 30 years. This was as good as it gets on both sides. It certainly turned out to be the battle of the videos. You had Tom Mesereau playing Michael Jackson's outtake video. And, I might parenthetically add there, that thing can cut both ways because Michael, talks a little bit strangely. He talks about his lifestyle, which is certainly different than most of ours. So that could lead some jurors to say, look, he's really weird. He may well have done this. So they were taking somewhat of a chance. It was certainly sympathetic because he talked about his childhood and how he didn't have any friends. And even as he grew up, he wanted to be like the rest of us, to do simple things like go to the grocery store. The district attorney, then Ron Zonin, came in and he played the video of the accuser in this case. That was interesting because that could make or break this case. But I think if you think that the little boy was telling the truth, you're going to believe the video. If you don't think he was telling the truth,
right,
I think you could spin it the other way. I mean, you can spin it any way you want.
And both of those videos, the judge has instructed the jury, are not being offered for the truth of the matters contained therein. Translation, they're not like testimony. They're being offered for other purposes, yet both sides relying heavily on them. And Michael, does it concern you at all that Team Jackson is perhaps going overboard in painting Michael Jackson, a multi-millionaire international celebrity, as a victim in that video? Repeated trips to the hospital, just the fragility of his appearance there in court.
Well, remember, the jury isn't supposed to know these things. I mean, one day he walked in his pajamas and everybody made a big deal out of that. He was in the hospital that day. But remember, the jury doesn't have a clue where he is. At least they're not supposed to. Then today, as Mr. Gregory talked about, he went to the hospital. The jury doesn't know that. I mean, obviously, he needed electrolytes, as he said. I've seen him in court, and I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of weight loss, and I've got to think he's on some sort of medication when he comes to court, because there are days when his eyes look glassy, and it's got to be because of the pain he's suffering in his back. So it
Let me go to Dick Gregory on that, because there certainly is a lot of speculation about prescription medications that Michael Jackson may be taking. Any information on that?
No, I don't know any information on it. All I know is some of the worst pain you can have is when you have gallstones or kidney stones. 98% of gallstones or kidney stones is caused from dehydration. The number 2 cause of death in America is dehydration. We have totally underestimated the part that water plays. We drink Gatorade, Kool-Aid, lemonade, and soda pop. That do not take the place of water.
Right. Well, of course, there's always the concern that celebrities seem to go to the hospital when they're dehydrated or exhausted, whereas the rest of us might have a Gatorade and take a nap. Diane Diamond, let me bring you back in, because we know that Michael Jackson spends a lot of money on PR people, Raymond Bain, for instance, and attorneys. There's another side in this case, the boy, the victim. I was surprised that he wasn't there during the closing arguments. We don't know how he's doing. We don't know whether he's exhausted, whether he's under stress, whether he's taking his vitamins. There's no PR person to speak for him, of course. Any sense of how he's doing?
Well, yes, I have sources that are close to that family. I don't want to give you the impression that I speak to that family because I don't, but I do know that they follow this case. I know that they watch court TV because every once in a while I get a message back that I've said something they don't like, or maybe Savannah has said something that they don't like, but they are following the case. They're in the state's witness protection program for their own security. They've moved several times from when this first started to where they are now. They have moved multiple times to remain safe. You know, are they under stress and strain? Of course they must be. I don't know if the children are, well, yes, I do. I was going to say I didn't know if they're being homeschooled, but I know that they're in school. I know this, a young accuser, we got a description today from Ron Zonin. He's on the honor roll. He plays football. He's in his third year as a cadet, sort of a, not military, but a scouting program. In fact, that, as he was giving a recitation of what this young man is doing now, he's now 15, there were a couple of objections from Tom Mesro at that point. So Mr. Zonin skipped over some of what I thought he was going to say. But the family is very close to each other. The mother, two brothers, a sister, and now they have this new stepfather, and they also have a brand new baby in their house who's, I think about 8 months old.
Yeah, and that'll keep you busy. All right, Dick Gregory, I know that I have to let you go, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this.
Yes.
You're a respected civil rights leader for many years. I myself was a civil rights attorney for many years before I came to Court TV. You had a choice in this case, and you chose to support Michael Jackson, I suppose, as against the poor Mexican-American boy who says he's a victim in this case. Why did you choose to support the Jackson side?
I've been knowing Michael for 30 years. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. If I didn't know him, I wouldn't even be here. I mean, I took care of his nutrition when he'd go on the road. I know him. Mm-hmm. One of the hard things, and I'll say this real quick, he ain't seen nothing yet. If this case ends tonight or tomorrow and he's found not guilty, his problems just start then, because for 6 months that adrenaline rush is there, and when that adrenaline rush come down, everybody better get out the way. You think you're dealing with somebody else. My son's a chiropractor doctor, and he tells me they go to accidents and ask people how you feel, and they say, I feel fine. Both of them legs been cut off.
Because they're in shock at that point.
And he's in shock now.
Mr. Gregory, last question. Are you at Neverland as we speak?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the mood there?
The whole family's up in the family room in prayer, and I'm downstairs mixing vitamins and minerals.
Well, they're certainly lucky to have you. Dick Gregory, thank you so much for joining us. Back with plenty more on the Michael Jackson case after this. Still to come tonight, we'll have more on the jury in this case. Just who are they and how might they vote? Plus, hear what Jackson's one-time spiritual advisor has to say about his former friend. Rabbi Shmuley Boteach is back a little later.